Let me ask you something. Why do some men get treated like kings, while others get ignored, ghosted, or replaced in a heartbeat? Here's the harsh truth. Women don't fear losing most men. They fear losing a very specific kind of man, the kind who sets the standards so high, she knows she'll never find another like him. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what makes a man irreplaceable. Because once you understand this, you'll stop worrying about keeping her, and she'll start worrying about keeping you. Stay locked in because this could change the way you see yourself and the way women see you forever. Chapter 1, The Myth of Perfect. Let me paint you a picture. There's a guy, let's call him Mark. Mark thinks he's cracked the code to keeping a woman. He's always available. He never disagrees. He showers her with compliments and gifts. If she texts, he replies instantly. If she cancels on him, he says, "No worries." If she asks for a favor, he bends over backwards. Mark thinks he's making himself indispensable. He thinks she'll say, "Wow, I can't lose a man who treats me this well." But what actually happens? She loses interest, fast. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Nice does not equal unforgettable. You see, women don't fear losing the man who makes himself predictable, replaceable, and endlessly available. That's not security. That's suffocation. That's a man saying, "My value comes only from what I give you." And if your entire identity is wrapped up in pleasing her, guess what? You've already made yourself easy to lose. Think about it. When was the last time you truly valued something you could get at any time, in unlimited supply, with zero effort? You didn't. Scarcity creates value. Challenge creates desire. Here's the paradox. The men women fear losing are not the ones who hand them everything. They're the ones who could walk away and be just fine. That's why Mark's strategy fails every time. He's chasing security by being perfect, but what he doesn't realize is that his perfection makes him forgettable. And women don't fear losing someone forgettable. They fear losing the man who makes them feel excited, challenged, a little uncertain, even nervous about whether they're good enough for him. So if you've ever wondered, why do women leave the guys who treat them best? It's because those guys confuse servitude with strength, and strength is what women actually fear losing. Chapter 2, The Man with Options. Here's the first trait every woman fears losing in a man: options. Now, when most men hear that, they immediately think, "Oh, so I need to have multiple women chasing me?" Number. That's not the point. Options don't just mean women. Options mean you're not trapped. You have choices in your career, your social circle, your lifestyle. You're not clinging to her because she's your only source of excitement, validation, or intimacy. Think about it. When a man makes a woman his only option, she feels the weight of his entire identity on her shoulders. That's not attraction, that's pressure. And pressure kills desire. Now contrast that with the man who has a full life. He's got his work, his passions, his friends, his fitness, his goals. He's not waiting by the phone. He's not begging for her time. He's moving forward, with or without her. And here's where the psychology kicks in: scarcity. Women know, even subconsciously, that a man with options is harder to replace. He's not going to put up with endless games. He's not going to tolerate disrespect, because he doesn't have to. And that's exactly why she fears losing him. Let me give you a quick example. Picture two men. The first man's whole world revolves around his girlfriend. If she pulls away, he panics. If she threatens to leave, he scrambles to prove his worth. He'll do anything not to lose her. The second man, he loves her, sure, but he also loves his life. He's not needy for her attention because he's already fulfilled. If she wants to walk away, it stings, but it doesn't destroy him. Which one do you think she fears losing more? Exactly. The man with options. Because deep down, women know men like that don't come around often. They're rare. They're grounded. And most importantly, they don't settle. And that's the foundation. A man with options isn't just desirable, he's unforgettable. In the next chapter, we'll dive into another trait women secretly crave but rarely admit: the calm center. The man who stays unshaken, no matter what storm she throws his way. Chapter 3, The Calm Center. Every woman fears losing the man who stays calm when everyone else loses control. Why? Because in relationships, emotions run high. She'll test you, challenge you, throw storms your way, sometimes without even realizing she's doing it. And most men fail these tests miserably. When she pulls back, they chase harder. When she gets emotional, they get emotional too. When she starts drama, they react, argue, and escalate. And here's the brutal truth. The moment you lose your composure, you lose her respect. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine a man who remains unshaken. She raises her voice. He stays steady. She tries to provoke him. He doesn't bite. She storms off. He doesn't panic. That's the calm center. That's the man who becomes the emotional anchor in her life. And here's the psychology behind it. Women are wired for security. It's not just about money or protection. It's about emotional stability. A man who can stay composed under pressure signals strength at the deepest level. Think about it this way. You're on a plane and there's turbulence. If the pilot starts freaking out, you panic too. But if the pilot stays calm, you feel safe. In relationships, you're the pilot. If you stay composed, she feels secure. If you panic, she doubts everything. Let me give you a quick story. I had a friend, great guy, but every time his girlfriend pulled away, he'd send 10 texts in a row, begging for reassurance. What happened? She lost all attraction. Why? Because he showed her that her moods controlled him. Now compare that with another man I coached. His girlfriend would test him constantly, cancel plans, pick little fights, flirt with other guys just to get a reaction. Instead of exploding or chasing, he stayed calm, smiled, and said, "That's fine. I've got other things to do." Within weeks, she stopped testing. Why? Because she realized she couldn't shake him. That's the calm center. That's the man women fear losing. Because when you're unshaken, you become her rock. You become the one man she can't manipulate, the one man she can trust, the one man who doesn't fold under pressure. And here's the kicker. The calmer you are, the more magnetic you become. Because calmness is rare. Most men are chaos. The calm man, he's unforgettable. Chapter 4, the man of purpose. There's one trait that separates the man women tolerate from the man women fear losing. It's not looks. It's not money. It's not charms. It's purpose. A man on a mission is magnetic in a way most men will never understand. He doesn't orbit around her. He doesn't make her the center of his universe. Instead, she's invited to join his world, a world that's already rich with goals, vision, and drive. Let me tell you the uncomfortable truth. The moment a woman feels that your life revolves around her, attraction dies. Why? Because now she's your mission, and deep down, she doesn't want that. She wants to add to your life, not become the reason you exist. Think about history. Every great man, explorers, inventors, leaders, they all had one thing in common, purpose bigger than themselves. And the women who stood by their side, they weren't there because the man begged them to stay. They were there because they couldn't imagine walking away from a man who was going somewhere. Here's the mistake most men make. They meet a woman, they like her, and suddenly all their energy goes into keeping her. They drop their hobbies, neglect their career, stop chasing their goals, and then they wonder why she loses interest. Because here's the secret. When you abandon your purpose for her, she abandons you. Now let me give you a story. I once coached a guy who was obsessed with his girlfriend. Everything he did, every plan he made, revolved around her. At first, she loved the attention, but slowly she started pulling away. Why? Because he stopped being the man she was attracted to, the man chasing dreams. He became predictable, easy, boring. Compare that with another man I know. He told his girlfriend from day one, "My mission comes first. You're important, but you'll never be number one. My purpose will always be." You'd think she'd be offended, but the opposite happened. She respected him more. She admired him. She fought harder to be part of his journey. Because women don't want to be your mission, they want to support your mission. That's the paradox. The moment you make her your purpose, she leaves. But the moment you make your purpose bigger than her, she clings tighter. Chapter 5, the man of standards. Let me hit you with the harsh truth. The man who fears losing a woman will accept anything. Disrespect, excuses, bad behavior, and every time he accepts it, he becomes less attractive. The man women fear losing, he's the opposite. He has standards carved into stone, and he enforces them, without apology, without hesitation. Now here's the thing most men don't get. Women test you, not consciously, not with some evil plan, but they'll push boundaries. They'll show up late. They'll forget to text back. They'll cancel last minute, not because they hate you, but because they're wired to test if you're a man who tolerates scraps or a man who demands respect. And here's where most guys fail. Instead of walking away, they rationalize. She's just busy. She didn't mean it. She'll come around. She won't. What you tolerate becomes your reality. Let me give you a story. A client of mine went on a first date. She showed up 20 minutes late, no apology. Old him would have sat there, smiled, paid for dinner, and pretended it didn't bother him. But I told him, your time is valuable. Show her that. So he left after 10 minutes, texted her, I don't wait for anyone who doesn't respect my time. Guess what happened? She was furious. But the next time she showed up early. Why? Because now she knew. This man had standards. Here's the paradox women won't tell you. When you enforce your standards, they respect you more. When you bend, they lose respect, even if they get their way. Most men think being easygoing makes them attractive. Wrong. Being uncompromising on your values makes you magnetic. Women don't remember the guy who gave them everything. They remember the guy who wouldn't give them what they didn't deserve. Let me make this brutally clear. If you tolerate disrespect, lateness, flakiness, excuses, emotional games, you've already lost. But the moment you enforce standards, something shifts. She realizes you're not like the others. You're not begging for attention. You're not afraid to walk. And that's exactly why she won't want to let you go. Chapter 6. The Man of Abundance. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. The reason most men cling to the wrong woman is simple. They don't believe they can get another. Scarcity mindset. And scarcity kills attraction faster than anything else. The man women fear losing, he's not clinging. He's not begging. He's not worried about what if she leaves. Why? Because he knows something most men don't. There are always more options. And before you twist this, let me be clear. Abundance doesn't mean juggling 10 girlfriends. It means you live from a place of confidence, self-worth, and choice. You don't settle because you don't have to. Here's the paradox. The more abundance you carry in your mindset, the less you need abundance in reality. A man who walks into a room already believing he's valuable doesn't panic if one woman ignores him. He knows there are dozens of others who would notice. That energy is magnetic. Let me paint you two pictures. Guy A. He meets a girl on a dating app. She cancels plans twice. He still chases. He still waits. He's terrified of losing her because he doesn't think he can do better. She senses it, loses respect, and eventually ghosts. Guy B. He meets the same girl. She cancels once. He doesn't argue, doesn't beg. He simply moves on. Why? Because he knows there are 10 others lined up. She senses that too. And suddenly, she's the one chasing. This is why women fear losing the man of abundance. He's irreplaceable. Not because he's the richest or the best looking, but because he's not afraid to walk away. His value doesn't come from her validation. It comes from within and from the life he's built. You see, abundance isn't just about women. It's about your career, your friendships, your hobbies, your purpose. When your life is full, when you're building, growing, creating, no single person can hold you hostage. You become untouchable. That's the man every woman fears losing. The man who doesn't need her, but chooses her. The man who knows he has options, yet still gives his time and energy because she's earned it. That's not desperation. That's power. Chapter 7. The Man of Decisions. Here's a brutal truth. Indecision is the silent killer of attraction. Nothing drains respect faster than a man who can't decide. Women may not say it out loud, but when you hesitate, when you second guess, when you ask her to choose for you, she feels it. And once she feels it, she can't unfeel it. Now compare that to the man of decisions. He's decisive in everything. Where to eat, he picks. which path to take. He chooses. In relationships, he acts fast. If something feels off, he doesn't wait 6 months to see where it goes. He decides immediately whether to stay or walk. That decisiveness is rare, and rare is magnetic. Let me give you a real-world picture. Two guys plan a date. Guy A. So, what do you want to do? Maybe dinner? Or we could do a movie? Or whatever you want. He thinks he's being nice. She feels like she's babysitting. Guy B. Meet me at this spot, 7 p.m. Wear something casual. We're grabbing tacos and hitting the rooftop bar. He's not controlling. He's decisive. And that one decision communicates more confidence than 1,000 compliments. But here's where it gets deeper. Decision-making isn't just about dinner plans. It's about your life. The man women fear losing is the man who makes bold decisions without hesitation. He leaves toxic relationships. He seizes opportunities. He doesn't wait for permission to act. That kind of decisiveness tells her, this man is a leader, and women don't want to lose leaders. Think about it. Why do women chase the guy who moves on so quickly after a breakup? Because he decided. He didn't wait around to see what happens. He acted, and that action signals strength. Here's the irony. Most men think waiting is safe, waiting for the right time, waiting for her to come back, waiting for things to improve. But waiting is the most dangerous move you can make, because while you're waiting, another man is deciding, and she feels that difference immediately. So let me leave you with this. Every hesitation chips away at your value. Every decisive move builds it. The man of decisions doesn't need to prove himself. His actions prove everything. And that's exactly why women fear losing him. Chapter 8. The Irreplaceable Man. Let's bring this full circle. Every woman has a secret fear, not of being alone, but of losing the one man she knows she can't replace. The man who sets the standards so high that every other guy feels like a downgrade. That's the irreplaceable man. Now, what makes him irreplaceable? It's not money, it's not looks, it's not status. It's the combination of everything we've talked about. Presence, purpose, standards, abundance, decisiveness. When you stack those traits together, you stop being just another guy and start being the man she compares everyone else to. Think about it. The man of presence makes her feel seen in ways no one else can. The man of purpose lives a life so magnetic she wants to be part of it. The man of standards refuses to tolerate disrespect, and in doing so, earns her respect. The man of abundance never clings, never begs, because he knows he has options. The man of decisions moves with certainty, and certainty is irresistible. Put those traits together, and you create a gravity field she can't escape. Even if she walks away, even if things end, you live in her head. She compares every man after you to you. And deep down, she knows. She lost someone rare. Here's the paradox. The irreplaceable man doesn't try to be irreplaceable. He doesn't chase it. He doesn't perform for it. He simply embodies it by living his truth, holding his standards, and refusing to compromise his identity for anyone. That's why women fear losing him, because he isn't afraid to lose them. Most men beg, negotiate, or compromise their way into being tolerated. The irreplaceable man simply decides, this is who I am. This is what I expect. This is what I bring. And the moment she feels that certainty, she realizes, this is a man she cannot afford to lose. So here's my challenge to you. Stop asking, how do I get her to stay? And start asking, how do I become the man she never wants to leave? Because the second you shift from neediness to abundance, from hesitation to decisiveness, from acceptance to standards, you'll stop being replaceable. You'll start being unforgettable. And that's the man every woman fears losing.